After 20 weeks of makeup-free Mondays, where I fucked around on my guitar and spewed my thoughts into the world, I'm moving on to a new project. This week, we'll start WTF Wednesdays with a specific theme. I am striving for my PADI Open Water Diver certification. A number of people have asked me about my workout routine, especially when I'm on the road. I would have vlogged from the training pool, but that's undergoing some maintenance. This will be a more general overview of my routine that keeps me healthy and happy when traveling or even at home. My health mission or vision is that I want my body to be physically ready to do any adventure that comes up as an opportunity. I never want to say, no, I can't do that because I feel tired from yesterday or sore or any other myriad of excuses you could possibly have. This has served me well. Many people might even say that I'm almost too disciplined because I keep up the workout routine while I'm on the road. But I have found that because I integrate yoga elements and breathing elements and other meditative elements, that it helps me with my mental sanity as well. To begin, on Makeup-Free Mondays, I've been playing guitar in full lotus position. That serves to show how much I both work on flexibility and I'm naturally hypermobile. This has never caused me any problems. If anything, I integrate full lotus with a number of different techniques, including front stretching and back stretching. They were working all around me, cleaning the gutters. That's all right. I'm used to it by now. Full lotus and back pose as well. Something that I do quite often. When I'm stretching as such, I will go through a 4-4 breathing technique. When I'm talking, obviously, I'm only able to talk. But if I'm doing a full workout routine with myself or during classes, I will breathe in for 4 and out for 4, regardless of what type of exercise I'm doing. I'll even do it during extreme strength, power yoga, and other moves. Of course, maintaining that type of breath is much more difficult than just me doing simpler moves. The theory behind that is if you can train your body to have fluid-controlled breathing during physically stressful situations, your body and your mind will also learn to do that during mentally stressful situations. I'm just curious about how I would run this vlog right now. The reason why I've taken the deep dive or plunge, so to speak, with open water is because I've been circling around the idea for a couple of years. I dived for the first time that same year. I skydived, bungee jumps, and continued to do all manners of what you would call extreme adventure sports. The problem has been I've only ever had one-off experiences with the sports as opposed to formally committing to do anything. I've reread and rewatched some of my thought processes through skydiving, and even back then I had mentioned that maybe I will learn to skydive and progress to base jumping. The problem is ideas can abound. Even at the beginning of this year, I thought that I would organize a tandem base jump. In recalling my goal-setting presentation in January, something that you have to be able and ready and willing to do is reassess your goals depending on how you're feeling. Many times I will say something is a goal, hoping to actualize that goal within that year, but then something comes up to make me realize that I need something else before I achieve that goal. This happens quite a lot, and I'm happy that it happens. When you express a desire, often that's the first time that you're starting to think about what it would take to actualize that desire. However, you're working with what I would call a position of incomplete information. As you research more into what it would take, you might realize that you need something else. For example, I knew that I wanted to bush camp with animals in Africa. That dream started as soon as I prioritized adventure travel as my #1 priority in 2013. I took 5 years to be comfortable and confident to do that type of adventure the way I wanted to. In the meantime, I had to learn first how to travel at the very least, then how to backpack in developed countries, then how to backpack in developing countries, then how to do all of that solo. Case I'm trying to figure out, do I keep talking while I stretch? I tend to do a number of stretch routines, anywhere from 30 to 60 minutes a day. Diving is going to be an interesting adventure for me. I have all the full gear, at least the basic gear that I would need. The major problem I encountered in the last 5 years with all my adventures was diving. The problem was my first experience. The experience, I think, tried to integrate too many things into one. They advertise it as no diving experience required, but I think that is false advertising. They essentially try to pack in everything you need to know in order to cage the shark dive within 1 hour, which, looking back, I think is way, way, way too much. I was still able to cage the shark dive, but in a limited capacity. Ever since then, the sport itself has drawn me because I have an element of fear associated with it. I am the type of person who wants to be able to face fears in a reasonable manner. I think I just started off on the wrong foot with diving. Since that experience, I've done many water excursions, snorkeling, pseudo-free diving, and I think the water world offers so many opportunities to interact with animals that this skill is worth me investing in. The other skills, like skydiving, I think they're fun, but are less practical. I've since reevaluated what I think I enjoy about traveling, and animal encounters have consistently come to the top in my memory and in my dreams. That's safe to say that animals are probably where I want to start investing more of my travel effort. I've already done it, to be honest. I've essentially experienced animals in all manners, like the big five through bush camping in Africa, gorilla trekking, diving cageless with sharks, manta rays, manatees, turtles. I think I've experienced quite my fair share already. But one thing that I've yet to experience is diving with humpback whales. From what I understand, in Tonga, you can have that experience with them, but that'll depend a lot on circumstance. For example, if you rely just on swimming and snorkeling, you might see them near the surface, but that limits you. Even if you can free dive, you still need to limit yourself to what you can do in a single breath. If you have the skill of diving, then you can go deeper and longer, which just increases your chances of having an interaction with them. In any case, I'm starting my first official pool training tomorrow. I've already been doing pool training at my strata pool and integrating my normal stretch routine workouts. This is a new thing for me. I'm trying to figure out what exactly I can vlog versus talk about. I would also, aside from yoga, power yoga, which I do basically just free form, I do like using the ball in a limited location here. But the ball's interesting. You can sit on it. You can use it to strengthen core. How would I do this better? I'll just do it here because this is the space I'm limited to. It is what it is. I'm trying my best to figure out how I'm gonna do these WTF Wednesday vlogs. I think as an intro vlog, it's good to express my thought process as I'm heading into my first class. To reiterate with regards to goal setting, I think it's important to consistently reassess. In doing so, you maintain goals that are relevant to you, that are important to you, instead of just blindly trying to achieve a goal that you might have set 5 years ago, but has very little resonance with you now. For me, I found that goals tend to be timing based for me. I'll eventually reach them, but I change the timeline on them all the time. The reason why is because I've realized I love adventure, but adventure is a wide-ranging word, and what I'd like to do 1 year, I might realize that another adventure is more important. More likely, I'll realize that I need skills in the meantime that I could learn from another adventure. In that case, I think I'm good with today's vlog. I think so. What am I gonna do? What else do I have to say? I think I've covered mostly what I want to talk about for today. Next week, I'll think about how I vlog myself in the pool. The problem is my camera is a normal cell phone. I have an adventure action cam that's waterproof, but lacks the ability to go live. I'll figure it out. This is my art YouTube project. I'll do it however the ideas germinate in my head.